Hi, Penn and Teller on duty at TNT's Monstervision. We're watching the building while we watch the movies. Everything is kosher from cellar to penthouse. Coming up next on very special effects is Mysterious Island. It's about a bunch of Civil War soldiers and a couple of fine ladies who end up stranded on an island inhabited by humongous crabs, chickens, and bees. We like this movie because it shows that soldiers, reporters, and society ladies can live together peacefully when forced to. The presence of giant animals should not be a deterrent to people of various cultures forced to cohabitate. That's one of the lessons of Mysterious Island. Among the things to look for in Mysterious Island are a bunch of soldiers who must have missed the day in boot camp when a drill instructor told them, if you fall off a balloon and you have to swim to a deserted island, take off your boots. Also, Mysterious Island reinforces the notion that when foodstuffs are made giant, they can be really, really scary. Teller is fighting with a giant hero sandwich. Stay tuned for Mysterious Island and thrilled to the excitement of lines like, this is an island, all right. There's nothing but water all around. Fight the provolone. Oh, is it all done? So you won, huh?
Night Watchman Penn and Teller.
So, a bunch of Civil War soldiers escaped from prison in a balloon. None of the guys really knows how to fly a balloon, so they're just floating up around there for several hours. They finally get the balloon down low enough to see a monomaniac who's breeding larger-than-life animals on an island. So they yell down to the monomaniac, where are we? And the monomaniac looks up and says, you're in a balloon, you damn fools. That's a little Bert and I story that we adapted specially for this. We're Penn and Teller, and now back to Mysterious Island on TNT. Not there's the spring people.
Mysterious Island now continues on TNT.
Monstervision. You're watching very special effects. Yeah! Going to eat some giant crab tonight. Remember next week on Monstervision, it's the best of the outer limits on TNT. Yeah! Do the crab dance. Ben Gillette, back with you in the middle of Mysterious Island. Just as Michael Callan has done in tonight's movie, Teller is trying to prove his manhood by fighting a giant chicken. In my neighborhood, nothing says real man better than that. We'll be back to Mysterious Island in a minute. After Mysterious Island, stay tuned for Clash of the Titans as very special effects continues on TNT's Monstervision. I'm Penn, this is my partner Teller, and since TNT pays less than a working wage, we've had to accept positions moonlighting as security guards for this building. The chance to watch monster movies while protecting an edifice is a heady mix. Hi, Penn and Teller back with another night of TNT's Monstervision. Tonight, it's the best of the outer limits. Once again, we're maintaining our post guarding one of Gotham's concrete castles from interlopers. First up on the best of the outer limits is the Zanti Misfits, about a race of aliens who want to use the Earth as a repository for the various miscreants of their culture. Oh, man. Not again. Hey, if this ever happens to your TV at home, just give it a good whack on the side with your trusty nightstick. That's better. Starring as one of the Zanti's victims is none other than Laura Dern's father, Bruce, who gets to deliver tonight's hot line. A runaway wife and a three-time loser must always go forward. What? Finally, this is the episode of The Outer Limits that scared a little 8-year-old Penn so much that I could neither take out the garbage nor sleep so that it was originally broadcast. My parents said, no more Outer Limits. I'm about to see it again for the first time, so here comes the Zante Misfits.
Monstervision will continue in a moment. The Zante Misfits now continues with TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller.
You're watching the best of The Outer Limits on Monstervision. And remember to watch next week's Monstervision, Best of the Worst on TNT. Okay, fine. Gag's done. Turn off the damn window. Turn it off.
Our night of the best of the Outer Limits now continues with TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller back with you in the middle of the Zante Misfits. Just a reminder, criminals are scary. Aliens are scary. Insects are scary. Alien criminal insects are really scary. The best of the Outer Limits continues in a minute, and right after the Zante Misfits, make sure to watch William Shatner in Cold Hands, Warm Heart. Back in a minute. Let me get that for you. Hi, we're Penn and Teller back with more of the best of the Outer Limits. And we're maintaining our posts here at the guard station, picking up a little extra cash. It's late. We don't have to deal with a lot of folks coming and going. No one to sign in or out. We're picking up $6.31 an hour. It's a pretty good deal for watching movies. And Outer Limits, which are really great. We had the... Oh, man. We are being robbed. $6.31 an hour to watch this thing is slave labor. Teller, just keep repeating to yourselves, limited benefits. Limited benefits. This one is called Cold Hands, Warm Heart, and it sure isn't an A-list episode. A pre-Kirk Shatner plays an astronaut who returns from a mission with a problem. He just can't get warm. Why? See if you can figure it out. We're still trying. Also, see if you can spot an actor from a current series about a certain underage medico who, according to the press release, could prescribe drugs before he could buy beer. Also, there's a new trend in New York City making the rounds called celebrity math, which is adding or subtracting one celebrity to another to get a third. A good example would be Elvis Presley plus Bela Lugosi equals Keith Richards. The equation you can use while you watch Cold Hands, Warm Heart is Laurence Olivier minus Laurence Olivier equals William Shatner. Hope you enjoy it. See you in a little while. Thanks. If it's from the past, people love it, even if it's not that great. Like this episode of The Outer Limits. Combine a corny script with the never subtle emoting of William Shatner and... Well, Shatner does get to deliver a great line when he says, "Give me a pill, I've got a job to do." So stick it out, hang in there. The next one is great. It's Martin Landau in The Man Who Was Never Born. One of the best. Teller, is it hot in here or am I crazy? Whew. Teller's hottest line tonight comes from Nightmare. Colonel Jong tells his fellow prisoners, in the opinion of a layperson, the bones of my arm were pulverized. You're watching the best of the Outer Limits on Monstervision. And remember, on next week's Monstervision, it's Howlers Galore on the Best of the Worst night on TNT. My name is Penn with my partner Teller, back with more of the best of the Outer Limits on TNT. This one is my favorite. It's The Man Who Was Never Born, starring Martin Landau as Andro. It's about a mutant who returns to the 20th century to save the world of the future. Andro has the power to hypnotically make people see him as whoever he wants to be. Isn't that right, Teller? In this story,
Not only does Andro transform from man to mutant, his wardrobe goes from the natty black suit of the Eastern academic to your standard mutant's garb of frayed vest, oversized military surplus sweater, and big wool blankets around the legs. It's amazing how he can mutate and carry a change of clothes with him at the same time. Hot teller? Gets a change of clothes and everything. Like the characters in most of these stories, Andro never realizes that by going back in time to destroy the creator of the plague, he's eliminating any chance of his existing in the future. But the really big thing that I'm wondering about, the really big question is, if you have the power of hypnotic suggestion, why would you choose to look like Martin Landau instead of, I don't know, Mel Gibson? And why on earth would anyone choose to look like Teller? I tell you, life's tough with a toad face. Find out. Watch The Man Who Was Never Born on TNT. Beauty is always on the edge of being lost. There's a great deal of comfort in the sounds of youth. Pithy dialogue is a way of life on the outer limits. Now back to The Man Who Was Never Born. When it's over, the best of the outer limits continues with the Architects of Fear. Coming up next on the best of the outer limits is a classic, The Architects of Fear. It's about a group of scientists who set out to scare the people of Earth into working together against a common enemy instead of fighting each other. The show stars Robert Culp as a scientist chosen to undergo a horrible mutation in an effort to achieve peace. This is really an exceptional episode of The Outer Limits, right from the opening scene, which is directed and shot beautifully. The best Outer Limits scripts were suspenseful, but always had an extra layer hidden in a good story. This is one of those. We learned a lot from this. If an alien creature really appeared, the people of Earth would have to get together to... People of Earth, I come from a distant galaxy. I'm going to destroy your planet unless you all work together to defeat me. I need everyone, especially the Serbs and the Croats. We'll need their help if you're going to conquer my people. Well, we're giving it a shot, whatever we can do to help. Watch The Architects of Fear on the best of the Outer Limits. For God's sake, people, can't we all get along? Ha! Just a little reminder from your pals, Penn and Teller. Despite what you might see on the best of the Outer Limits here on TNT, radiation burns are not the best way to cauterize gunshot wounds. We highly recommend using cigarettes. We also recommend that you tune in to next week's Monstervision Best of the Worst. Oh, Teller, give a hand with that box over there, would you please? Where's the box going, man?
To the scientists making unilateral decisions about the fate of mankind?
Oh, up on 9?
Right.
Great. Teller, would you take that up there for me, please? It's all set, no problem. Hope there's someone up there to accept the package. Now, let's get back to The Architects of Fear. And after it's over, stay tuned for the 6th finger on the best of the Outer Limits on TNT.
How you doing? Penn and Teller here, guarding the building and watching TNT's The Best of the Outer Limits. Coming up next, an episode called Sixth Finger, where a Welsh miner evolves 1 million years into man's future. In keeping with the evolution theme of this episode, my partner Teller is going to devolve himself into another life form. He'll be achieving this transformation in one of the elevators right here in the building. Teller gained the ability to devolve through a series of graduate courses taken at various universities overseas. Ready, Teller? Hit it, man. While Teller's devolving, I'll tell you a little about our story. David McCallum, the man from Uncle, is the miner who volunteers for a scientist's experiment in evolution. The producers of The Outer Limits seem to think the lowest form of life on the planet was the Welsh miner. McCallum rapidly evolves 1 million years, through which he develops a sixth finger and learns to say stuff like, "Your ignorance makes me ill and angry." Real classic. The makeup for this episode was created by John Chambers, who won an Oscar for Planet of the Apes, which incidentally is Earth. According to Chambers' vision, in 20,000 years, we'll all look just like Stephen Wright. Oh, sounds like Teller's ready. My partner Teller, devolve. Amazing. What a special effect. Now it's time for the sixth finger on TNT's The Best of the Outer Limits. The sixth finger. I don't know if it really looks that good. Let me just get it off there. Ow! Boy, there we go. Now, that looks better, doesn't it? See you soon. When the script for The Sixth Finger was originally written, the author wanted Gillum to devolve as far as a fish. ABC, the network that originally carried The Outer Limits, censored that and would only allow Gillum to go as far back as early man. They were worried about offending their creationist viewers. I know it's 30 years later, but I was just wondering how many letters ABC would have gotten if they had simply stated the truth. Creationism, as stated in the Bible, is a myth, and evolution is a fact. We're going to find out. Send your letters to Penn and Teller at this address. We're just trying to keep things interesting and tell the truth after 30 years. Talk to me. Try to form your thoughts into word patterns using binary systems. You just won't talk to me. We're Penn and Teller. We're back with more of the best of the Outer Limits. There's a guy on this monitor. He wants to talk to us, but he can't tell us what he's trying to say. A situation not too unlike the one in Galaxy Being, the next episode of Outer Limits. Cliff Robertson plays a radio engineer who gets in touch with a being from outer space. Is it merely coincidence that he became a spokesman for a long-distance company? You be the judge. Anyway, Cliff contacts this alien, who in true Outer Limits fashion is not content to stay in his otherworldly limbo, but rather has to come to Earth and be mistaken for a malevolent being who must be destroyed. Get back! What a guy. First he won't talk to me, then he tries to snatch my beverage. Anyway, watch Galaxy Being. We'll be back later. Come on, get it. Come on, get it. You glowing rat bastard. Come on.
Our night of the best of the Outer Limits now continues with TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller.
Hello, I'm Gilbert Gottfried. We're watching Old Good Slave Girls Go to Heaven, starring Laurie Amsterdam and Jessica Hahn.
Hey, Gilbert. You got your own show, okay? Why don't you just run on down to your little studio and show your little movies and stay the hell out of our building, okay? We're Penn and Teller, going back to Galaxy Being on the best of the Outer Limits on TNT. And coming next, it's Demon with a Glass Hand.
Up all night.
Shut up.
We're We're Penn and Teller, ever vigilant as the best of the outer limits rolls on with Demon with a Glass Hand. Robert Culp stars as Trent, a guy on the run from an alien race known as the Kybin. The Kybin are after Trent because he's escaped into the past with a glass hand that's actually a computer. Trent's hand is missing 3 fingers, which the Kybin possess. If he doesn't find them, he doesn't save humanity. Now, don't go looking for a monster in this one. You're just going to be disappointed. When the show was originally produced, ABC liked to have a monster every week. And this episode, no monster. They gave it the title Demon with a Glass Hand, hoping that Demon would fulfill the monster quota. It should have been called Guy with a Glass Hand because that's exactly what Robert Culp is. Robert Culp was a mainstay in The Outer Limits, and his performance here is, as John Simon might say, feral and dangerous. But that's enough information. Now you now watch Demon with a Glass Hand.
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
Tomorrow night at 8, he will be released.
I made him. I must destroy him.
Who is he?
The devil!
He's not dead. He's here.
Randy Quaid, Patrick Bergen,
I will destroy you!
Frankenstein, a terrifying motion picture from TNT. Tomorrow night at 8.
TNT engineers working around the clock have discovered 4 o'clock is a great time to watch a movie. Really scary movies with monsters and guys wrapped up in tape every day at 4 o'clock begins Monday on TNT.
Demon with a Glass Hand now continues with TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller back with you with some more secrets of showbiz. This time, look like a Kybin in 15 seconds or less. Simple household items get the job done. Teller is applying a simple swimming cap. Then take your mom's mascara, just a little, she won't mind, and put it all around your eyes. Voila! You're a Kybin. Now back to Demon with a Glass Hand. Hang loose and stay tuned for iRobot, the next episode on TNT's The Best of the Outer Limits. There is nothing wrong with your television set. How do I know that? Maybe you want it cable ready, you have too many remote controls, well, never mind. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling the transmission. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We will control the contrast, even though you clearly like it where it's already set. But we are, after all, in control. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity, or sharpen it to crystal clarity, or we can just change it to a different kind of soft blur. We can block the image with a coin trick while it's still pretty blurry to even see the coin trick, or we could just keep it blurry and slap it with a pizza. I don't know. We could just turn it off if we want, but we don't want. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all you see and hear. We know it sounds a little fascist, but trust us, it's a good show. You're about to participate in a great adventure. You're about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner minds to the outer limits. We always wanted to do that. We never really had a bank of security monitors before. This episode is called I, Robot, wherein a robot goes on trial for the murder of his creator. Crystal clarity. We can focus it, we can keep it.
iRobot now continues on TNT. Our night of the best of the Outer Limits now continues with TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller.
We're Penn and Teller, nearing the end of the best of the Outer Limits, and we're in the middle of I, Robot. This was one of the... Whoa. Where do you think you're going?
Hey, I'm from Pizza Anytime. I got a large with everything and some salads for Silverman and Pierce.
Silverman and Pierce, 19?
Yeah, that's right.
Is this a cash payment, or do they have their account going here?
They have a charge account.
Oh, okay. Why don't you just run along? It's almost 5 o'clock. That 6 o'clock pizza rush is going to be coming in.
Oh, you take it up for me?
No problem. Anytime.
Hey, thanks, guy.
No problem, man. Take it easy. Hey, they're lawyers. They can eat each other to survive. Let's get back to iRobot and stay tuned for the last episode of the best of the Outer Limits on TNT. Wow.
iRobot now continues with TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller.
Teller's hottest line tonight comes from Nightmare. Colonel Jong tells his fellow prisoners, in the opinion of a layperson, the bones of my arm were pulverized. You're watching the best of the Outer Limits on Monstervision. And remember, on next week's Monstervision, it's Howlers Galore on the best of the worst night on TNT.
TNT's Monstervision brings you the best of the worst sci-fi movies ever made. Hosted by Penn and Teller. The best of the worst. Next Saturday night, only on TNT.
They call me Teller. My partner Penn does all the talking, which gives me a chance to do a lot of thinking. We're starting our fourth and final night hosting TNT's Monstervision. TNT's measly pay has forced us to moonlight here as security guards. The last cable job we ever take. But the chance to watch monster movies while protecting this edifice from intruders is a heady mix, providing me with much input for my latest experiment. I'm looking forward to tonight's first movie, the TNT original Frankenstein. Based on the classic by Mary Shelley, it's about the battle between man's good side and his evil side. Puts me in mind of my own experiments. My creation. My monster. Two halves of the same man. My pleasure. My pain. Water. He may be going off to terrorize people at random. I think I should go after him. On a dog sled. You watch the TNT original Frankenstein.
We're Penn and Teller, guarding the building, watching the movies, back with more of Monsterama. Coming up on Monsterama, it's The Howling, directed by Joe Dante. It's about a Los Angeles anchorwoman who heads to a California spa inhabited by werewolves. The effects are truly amazing. The werewolves are made up to look just like John Carradine and Slim Pickens. One thing that makes The Howling more than just another anchorwoman turns into night-stalking lupine film are the appearances by other filmmakers. Early in the movie, the guy waiting outside the phone booth is Roger Corman, king of the low-budget horror movie. Also, look for the morgue attendant, played by John Sayles, king of the low-budget art house movie. And Chris, the news producer, is Dennis Dugan, king of the low-budget John Ritter movie, Problem Child. There are a pair of rules that seem to reoccur in The Howling as well as in many other monster movies. 1, never call the police. 2, always go into the dark alone. We're putting those 2 rules to the test right now. Clearly, there's been something going on in this dumpster for a while. Now, we could call the cops, collect our $6.31 an hour, and pose no real threat to ourselves. But what kind of movie would that make? Instead, we sent Teller out there alone. Let's see how the little guy fares in this. Oh, there he is. There he is now. Careful, Teller. Careful, careful. Whoa, oh. Well, hey. What's going on here? Teller, what's going on? Teller? Oh, it's just Reggie. Okay, it's just Reggie. That's Reggie. He's a performance artist with a loft across the street. He's preparing a theater piece, and the building managers let him run around in the garbage to rehearse. Sometimes the dark holds forbidden terrors. Sometimes it holds friendly, unemployed actors. We'll be seeing more of both in The Howling, coming up on TNT Monsterama. Penn here, my partner Teller there, and we are smack dab in the middle of Monsterama on TNT's Monstervision. And this next movie it's a great movie. It's Them, and it stars James Whitmore and James Arness. It's about giant, I'm not gonna tell you what's giant in it. When this movie was first released, 1954, the monsters weren't revealed in the advertising. None of the advertising. When they came on screen, audiences were terrified. They freaked. Them is also notable for familiar faces in the cast. Leonard Nimoy as a soldier, Richard Deacon from the old Dick Van Dyke Show, and the guy who played Patty Duke's father, who is William Shallert. The best thing about Them is that it's a mystery story wrapped up in a science fiction movie. Think of it like Alien, only the monsters are... I'm not going to tell you. I almost slipped, but I'm not going to tell you. Okay, one last thing. The correct pronunciation is zoology, not zoology. The fact that there are zoologists in this movie saying zoology is really the only factual flaw in this otherwise perfect movie. Everything else could happen and did happen because, as you all know, it's based on a true story. What's this tell? Okay. We're about to start the movie. After I watched a little bit of the beginning because it's great. I have a phone call to make. I have to call my aunt and wish her a happy birthday. I'll see you in a while, and enjoy the movie on TNT.
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
We are Penn and Teller, and you are watching Monsterama on TNT. Teller's hotline tonight is an exchange from Them. James Arness is told that all parts of the ant's nest should be well saturated, to which he replies, boy, if I can still raise an arm when I get out of this place, I'm going to show you how well saturated I can get. Back to Monsterama in a minute.
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
Penn back with you on TNT's Monsterama. My partner Teller just got back from his rounds and seems to have fallen into some kind of trance. The only thing I have handy to bring him around with is this little bottle of formic acid. See, it's really formic acid. As you can see right there, it's written formic acid. Well, at least he's out of the trance. Now if I could just get him to stop screaming the title of the damn movie. Back to Them! In a minute. All right, Teller, it's cool. It's funny. Real funny stuff. Funny, witty, clever.
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
We're Penn and Teller, and you're watching Monsterama on TNT.
You want more monsters? Just wait. TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller are about to face the thing from another world. Then the ape is big, the ape is tough, but he has a real weakness for blondes. He's King Kong. It's Monstervision, a simple television experiment gone completely berserk.
On TNT's Monsterama, you can see my partner Teller on this monitor doing battle with the giant ants frequenting our dumpster. Get the antennae, Teller! Get the antennae! Get him! Get him! There he goes. We'll be back in a minute. Whack him!
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
Watching the building and watching them on TNT's Monsterama. Now, we've seen how the giant ants make their way into Los Angeles through the storm drains, which I think is the same way Mickey Rourke got there. But the question is, could insects of such mammoth proportions survive, much less terrorize a whole city? The answer, despite the fact this is a great movie, is no. It's physics. It has to do with the ant's exoskeleton, which wouldn't be able to support an ant if it got as large as the ones in this movie. You see, weight increases in proportion to the size cubed, while strength only increases in proportion to the size squared. The bones of a mouse are small, itty-bitty, in proportion to the body, just as an elephant's bones are large. If an ant's body grew as large as the ones in them, its legs would be too huge to move because the exoskeleton is so thick, there's no room inside for any muscle. So you have a big, scary ant that couldn't move. You got that? There's a reason they call it science fiction. Back to them in a moment, then stay tuned for James Arness again in The Thing.
You want more monsters? Just wait. TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller are about to face the thing from another world. Then the ape is big, the ape is tough, but he has a real weakness for blondes. He's King Kong. It's Monstervision, a simple television experiment gone completely berserk.
Penn and Teller back with you on TNT's Monsterama. And there's another true classic coming our way. It's The Thing, produced by Howard Hawks. And now it's even better because it's been colored with a computer. None of that pesky black and white for the privileged viewers of Turner Network Television. Teller is sitting at the controls of a computer similar to the one that was used on this movie to bring out the vivid beiges, purples, and grays, which you couldn't see before the film was festooned with pustules of color. He's trying to liven things up by colorizing our security monitors. While he does that, a little bit about The Thing. The Thing itself is James Arness. Not human, not animal, a vegetable. It goes on a rampage at an Arctic military base, and the men there have to figure out a way to kill it. The Thing was produced by Howard Hawks, who was known for almost every genre but science fiction. He had made comedies like Bringing Up Baby and His Girl Friday, and westerns like The Big Sky and Rio Bravo. The Thing was has a lot of Hawksian elements, including dialogue that flies by with one character's lines overlapping the next. Teller? Never mind. One of the things that makes the movie great is that you really have to listen to what's going on. I think Teller's just about ready. We are about to see the northeast corridor of the 7th floor in full color. I like it. I like it. I do like it. It has a little more, well, subtlety than Ted's coloring of this movie. Coming up, it's The Thing in full color. But here's a reminder, if you want to recreate the experience of sitting in a theater and watching this for the first time, get yourself a box of Juji Fruits and turn the color knob down. Yeah, you do lose the brilliant computer-generated palette, but you'll feel like you're at the Rialto on a Saturday in 1951. Try it. We'll see you in a while. Nice use of yellow.
Vision brings you Filled hours of the best of the worst sci-fi movies ever made. Featuring Attack of the 50-Foot Woman and Plan 9 from Outer Space. Hosted by
Movies you love to hate.
the best of the worst. Next on TNT.
Hey, Penn here, back on our third night hosting Monstervision on TNT and maintaining our watch at this here big city skyscraper. My partner Teller is doing the rounds now. It's best of the worst night on Monstervision, and leading it off is the only movie we know of about giant killer bunnies. It's Night of the Lepus, based on the novel Year of the Angry Rabbit. I didn't make that up. Check the credits. I haven't read the novel yet, but Teller finished it just a few nights ago, and he was actually rather freaked. The movie takes place in the Southwest, where a bunch of cuddly little bunnies have been radiated and grown to the size of, they want us to believe they've been grown to the size of cars, but it's painfully clear they haven't grown at all. They're just rabbit-sized rabbits shot in slow motion and trashing a little tiny ranch. The title of the film is interesting origins. Lepus, of course, is Latin for rabbit, and Night of the is an allusion to other, better films whose titles end with words like Hunter, Iguana, and Living Dead. Jeez, I wonder where Teller is. He's going to miss the beginning of this exciting movie. Night of the Lepus stars DeForest Kelley from Star Trek and Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, Janet Leigh. It also stars Inez Perez, G. Leroy Gantner, and I. Stanford Jolie. I don't know what any of the credits for those last three are, but I like stumbling over their names. So, here comes Night of the Lepus, and we'll be back later.
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
Of Night of the Lepus on TNT's Monstervision. Look what Teller just got for his niece. It's the Night of the Lepus action figure with Rory Calhoun Ranch sold separately. It recreates all the carnivorous thrills of Night of the Lepus. Let's see how it works. You got the batteries in there, Teller? Oh no! Oh no! Giant carnivorous bunny! He's knocked over the farmer! He's not over the farmer! He's going after the horses! Run! Run! Run for your lives! Look at he's running through the cow pasture! Run to the cow! Look at that! Destruction! The cows are being killed! Oh, the horror! He's gonna pick up the silo! Oh my God! Get the kids in the cellar! Save yourself! Killer bunny! Killer bunny! We'll be back with Night of the Lepus. Save yourselves! He's coming after me! He's got my throat! I'm Bill Lamore! I'm Bill Lamore!
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
Age, we've had to accept positions moonlighting as security guards for this building. The chance to watch monster movies while protecting an edifice is a heady mix.
The best of the worst slithers on with Zsa Zsa Gabor sporting slit skirts and doing her best acting impression in Queen of Outer Space. And next Saturday night, those golden boys of TNT, Penn and Teller, run screaming through a monster-rama. It's Monstervision, a simple television experiment gone completely berserk.
Middle of Night of the Lepus on TNT's Best of the Worst. We're maintaining our watch of the building and the movie, and I'll tell you, watching one of these is a lot harder than watching the other. Right after Night of the Lepus, stay tuned for Queen of Outer Space, starring Zsa Zsa Gabor. My name is Penn. This is my partner. Teller! Killer rabbit got Teller! We've had an emergency. A killer rabbit has eaten my partner, Teller. I must fight him. Better not really hit a rabbit. It look bad. Let's go back to Night of the Lepus. I'll be battling the rabbit. Should I hit him with the antenna? See the Teller blood? My name is Penn. This is the remains of my partner, Teller.
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
Monstervision. Remember, on next Saturday's Monstervision, it's Monsterama.
The best of the worst slithers on with Zsa Zsa Gabor sporting slit skirts and doing her best acting impression in Queen of Outer Space. And next Saturday night, those golden boys of TNT, Penn and Teller, run screaming through a Monsterama. It's Monstervision, a simple television experiment gone completely berserk.
Penn Gillette, my partner Teller, back at our post as the stinkers roll on. Next up on TNT's Monstervision, it's Queen of Outer Space, starring Zsa Zsa Gabor. It's about 3 astronauts who land on Venus and find it inhabited with women. Get it? Venus. Women. The movie was made in 1958 and takes place in 1985. Now, we all remember 1985, so we know that its vision of that year is just a little off, what with manned missions to Venus and chaise lounges and rocket ships and all of that. 1958 and 1985 are 27 years apart, and Tell and I wanted to show you what we think life will be like for 2 security guards 27 years from now. What kind of brave new technology will we have to contend with? Now, this vision may frighten you, it may disturb you. We take you now to the year 2020.
Okay, so you did the rounds on 7 and 10, and there's no one on 8 and 9. Those are completely locked up. So those are all locked up. So there's only 7 and 9. You got your lunch here? Why don't you take like a half an hour or an hour, and I'll run out and do the rest of the rounds if it's necessary. I'll just keep an eye on the monitors. Okay, you just gonna be in the lunchroom? Good.
Kind of gives you the chills, doesn't it? To think of what we might have to contend with in just 27 short years. Speaking of contending with things, it's time to endure Queen of Outer Space and hear things like, the lives of everyone on Earth depend on Captain Patterson's sex appeal. We'll be back later. Penn and Teller back with you as TNT's Best of the Worst night continues to inflict itself upon us. Coming up is the attack of the 50-foot woman, which isn't really a science fiction movie. It's more like scenes from a marriage, only the wife grows up to be 50 feet tall. We really aren't the guys to be talking about this movie because it really isn't a monster movie. It's just sex. They should have called in a different team for this one, maybe Siegfried and Roy or something. The actual attack on the 50-foot woman doesn't take place until like an hour of the most turgid soap opera imaginable has dragged on by. It's all about a mentally unstable woman whose husband is running around with the town slut. Both women are card-carrying 50s bombshells with more curves than a loony straw. To be sure, incongruities and shoddy production values abound. The huge spaceman is transparent, as if some mistake were made in the processing of the film. Of course, when the director was asked about it, he said it was intentional. Also, the giant spaceman has normal-sized people furniture in his satellite spaceship. Now, this is another thing. Every time the characters talk about the UFO in this movie, they call the UFOs satellites. The way I figured is the movie was made right after the Sputnik satellite was launched, and everyone thought satellites were just cool things from up in the air. If it came from the sky, they figured it's gotta be a satellite. You might be wondering why Teller has been performing here with all the enthusiasm of a guy working his first children's party. Well, we're getting paid $6.31 an hour for guarding the building, and TNT is paying us a couple bucks an hour to watch the movie. They're paying us for watching it. You're doing it for nothing, so we thought you could use a little real entertainment as we make our way into Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, which is coming up on Best of the Worst on TNT's Monstervision.
Up next, the best of the best of the worst, or the worst of the best of the worst, possibly the best worst movie ever made. Plan 9 from Outer Space. And next Saturday, Penn and Teller face Monsterama. It's Monstervision, a simple television experiment gone completely berserk.
You know, it's a good thing they don't clean this lounge out very often. Look what we came across. It's the July 1959 issue of Playboy with Playboy's Beat Playmate, who happens to be a 23-year-old centerfold named Yvette Vickers, who plays the slatternly Honey Parker in 50-Foot Woman. This isn't a joke. We really have the pictures, and I got to set it up for a minute before I hold it up to you. But, excuse me, Tom. Just slide that there, and then you can see. Now, look at the face. Look at the face. It really is. That's really Yvette. Look at Yvette's face, and we can almost show you the whole thing here. Look at, she's wearing a shirt in the centerfold, and I don't know how many of you are real, in case you have a really good freeze frame, and I don't know how many of you are real nuts for kind of wacky pictures, but the photography is, I don't know if you can see this, but you better take my word for it. The photography is by Russ Meyer. Huh? Is that a collector's item? And they just call her Beatnik Chick all the way through here. She's so crazy and reckless and uninhibited, she might race a jag in the desert just for kicks. She has strong opinions and is more than a bit of a rebel, frowning prettily on conformity. Stay tuned for slightly less interesting pictures of Yvette as Attack of the 50-Foot Woman continues on TNT's Monstervision. Clip. I'm Penn, this is my partner Teller, and since TNT pays less than a working wage, we've had to accept positions moonlighting as security guards for this building. The chance to watch monster movies while protecting an edifice is a heady mix.
Monstervision will continue in a moment.
We're Penn and Teller, and you're watching Best of the Worst Night on TNT's Monstervision. Here's a fact. The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman actually came in $10,000 under budget. Guess the producers felt that the extra 10 grand couldn't make the movie any worse, so they just didn't spend it. Monstervision's back in a minute. Remember to tune in to next Saturday's Monstervision Monsterama.
Up next, the best of the best of the worst, or the worst of the best of the worst, possibly the best worst movie ever made. Plan 9 from Outer Space. And next Saturday, Penn and Teller face Monsterama. It's Monstervision, a simple television experiment gone completely berserk.
It's late at night. We're the only people up, us and all the other security people maintaining their vigils, signing out the people working late, making sure the corridors are free of intruders. A lonely life. But tonight, we're lucky because it's time for Plan 9 from Outer Space. We're Penn and Teller, back with more of TNT's Monstervision. It's Best of the Worst Night, and it's time for Plan 9 from Outer Space, the much maligned film about alien grave robbers who come to Earth. People trash movies like Plan 9 for everything, for a lack of continuity, bad acting, cheap sets. But I will tell you, I will take a week's worth of Plan 9 over one viewing of anything ever made by Merchant Ivory. I have seen Plan 9 from Outer Space 7 times. Personally, I am not kidding. And who do you know who has seen A Passage to India more than once except the director? Reds, Gandhi, The Turning Point, Out of Africa, anything with Emma Thompson, anything with Alan Alda, A River Runs Through It, A Passage to India, any Merchant Ivory film, as I said before, Chariots of Fire, A Bridge Too Far, any Woody Allen movie after Annie Hall, Exodus, anything hailed for its cinematography. If they mention cinematography, it's lousy. Anything that Joel Siegel didn't want to end, Dances with Wolves, yes, you know the movies, films, they call them films, that we're talking about. These are the ones that you hear Joel Siegel praising, saying, I wish this movie would go on forever. Well, we saw these damn movies, and Joel got his wish. They went on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Why couldn't Joel have wished, like every other American man, for a 12-inch keyboard player? This movie may have sloppy sets. It may have trouble distinguishing between night and day, no doubt about it. But at least it's not self-righteous, self-absorbed, and most important, boring. Ed Wood's movies did not come out as good as he wanted them to. Reds and Gandhi and all this other junk came out better than they wanted them to. In terms of just good old hollering fun, these movies couldn't wash the boots of a movie like Plan 9 from Outer Space. It's a movie. So, to our fellow sentries, you get ready to enjoy a movie, not a film. Finish your round, shake some dew off your lily, and strap in for Plan 9 from Outer Space. We'll see you later on TNT, because, brother, this one ain't done by Merchant Ivory.
Monster.
Maybe we've seen this movie too many times, but do the aliens' uniforms make them look a little like the Moiseyev dancers? I don't know. We're Penn and Teller enjoying Plan 9 from Outer Space, with the only other folks who are awake at this hour, our security guard brethren. Here's a little factoid about Plan 9. Bela Lugosi died early in the shooting of the movie, which is why you only see him at the beginning. Later in the film, his character reappears, but it's played by another actor covered with a cape. In true Ed Wood fashion, though, the replacement actor, who was Wood's chiropractor, is about 8 inches taller than Bela Lugosi. We're Penn and Teller, and you're watching the absolute best of the best of the worst. Plan 9 from Outer Space on TNT's Monstervision. Back in a while. Should you sign in? Did you sign in? You should have.
You think this movie's bad? Well, wait till you get a load of the Monster coming up next. And next Saturday, TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller, boldly take you on a guided tour of Monsterama.
We are Penn and Teller, and you are watching TNT's Best of the Worst night on Monstervision. Teller's hottest line tonight comes from Billy the Kid versus Dracula. Uncle Dracula has heard about the town's female doctor and wants to talk to her, so he asks, where do I find this backwoods female pill slinger? More howlers like that one coming up on Best of the Worst. Don't forget to join us next Saturday's Monstervision special, Monsterama.
Modern women, yeah, they've been that way all the way through the ages, especially in a spot like this. What? Let me try this one. How could I hope to hold down my command if I didn't believe what I saw and shot at? Wow. The saucers are up there, and the cemetery is out there, but I'll be locked up in there. We're Penn and Teller, and you're watching Plan 9 from Outer Space on TNT's Best of the Worst night. Let me look at this one. How about visits? That would indicate visitors.
You think this movie's bad? Well, wait till you get a load of the Monster coming up next. And next Saturday, TNT's Night Watchman, Penn and Teller boldly take you on a guided tour of Monsterama. This is Monstervision, a simple television experiment gone completely berserk.